This is Austin from the Austin Yearwood channel. Yes, it's been over wow, since a little over a week since I reviewed anything. Last time we reviewed anything that was the Founder. I mean, yes, Triple X was out this weekend, but okay. This movie, I've been anticipating it a little more than Triple X. And this movie is called The Founder, starring Michael Keaton as Ray Kroc. Yes, the man who founded McDonald's. I mean, okay, yeah, you think about it's for me, it's a no-brainer. Triple X, which is mindless action, or The Founder, which is about the founding of McDonald's, which McDonald's is, well, hey, a signature of America. So, mindless action or American culture. I believe I go with American culture. It starts in the mid-50s. Ray Kroc, played by Michael Keaton. He's this milkshake machine salesman. Yeah, when making milkshakes was pretty complicated back in those days with this big clumsy cylinder-looking machine. And he's not getting any sales, which, okay, being that I worked in sales, I kind of relate to that because, well, I wasn't good at it either. And yeah, my production sucked. But anyway, one day he talks to his secretary on the phone. There's this restaurant, this food joint in California that they ordered six milkshake machines, and he's like, nah, nobody would order six milkshake machines. And so he said, he talks to Dick McDonald on the phone, played by Nick Offerman. The phone conversation is kind of chaotic because, well, you can hear Dick McDonald giving orders to people on the phone. He's pretty distracted, and he doesn't have the time of day for Ray Kroc. And then, just come out here then and make it 8. Which then, okay, I guess he just, without thinking about it, ordered eight milkshake machines. And so Ray Kroc, he goes out there, he meets the two McDonald's brothers. He meets Dick, played by Nick Offerman, and Mac McDonald, played by John Carroll Lynch. And he orders food. He's astonished by how quickly it's served. And he talks to them. They show him their operation, the way the food's prepared and whatnot, and how quickly it's served. And then he says, let me take you out to dinner. And then there's a joke of you're not my type. Oh, of course, Hollywood with its inadvertent gay jokes. And you have it's like, no, Kroc is like, no, I want to hear your story. And he hears their story, the long story of their struggles and whatnot, and which I think is one of the longest. Okay, if you want to talk about a flaw of the movie, when the McDonald's brothers describe their backstory, I had to fight myself from falling asleep on that, in the theater. So, I mean, to cut a long story short, he tells them their story, and he listens to their story, and the next day he shows up and says, franchise. And that's pretty much all he says. And so, after a little more convincing, they sign a contract, where he gets so much shares, and whatever changes and decisions, he has to go through them. Well, okay, yes, rules are rules. He plays by the rules to some degree, and they cut him off of his shares. They tie his hands up, like, look, these are good ideas. Then it gets really blown out, or really gets out of hands when they start talking about milkshakes, which Michael Keaton as Ray Kroc, he meets this couple played by Patrick Wilson and Linda Cardellini, and where, of course, Joan, she later becomes Joan Kroc and becomes his second wife. They discover this Insta thing that, powdered milkshake, and they're big, Kroc and the McDonald's brothers are bickering back and forth about what type of milkshakes to make, whether it should be powdered milkshake or a milkshake from natural milk. I've tasted natural milkshake once. It's not that great. But honestly, when it comes to milkshakes, I prefer Jack in the Box. I mean, that's just my choice. I prefer Jack in the Box. So one thing leads to another, and then one day he gets in trouble with the credit bureau, and he meets this man, this young fellow from Tasty Freeze, and he tells him, like, look, you're not in restaurant business, you're in real estate business. You control the land, you control the franchise, blah blah blah. And so that's when McDonald's becomes McDonald's, and he buys the brothers off. Well, okay, that's a bit of the spoiler alert, but then there's some side stories. One thing, I saw Hidden Figures, and recently I didn't review it, but I see the difference between Hidden Figures and The Founder is that Hidden Figures kind of had a little too much side stories. Had a little too much side stories. Taraji P. Henson falling in love with Mahershala Ali, and then Janelle Monáe trying to finish her schooling. It didn't focus much on the what made John Glenn's mission successful. Like, it had too much side stuff. Well, The Founder, it has some side notes, but it does primarily focus back onto the success story of McDonald's that we now know today, and we buy the food, we enjoy the food. And so I know the trailers of this film, The Founder, and the advertisement make it seem like, okay, Ray Kroc was just this thieving lunatic. No, you watch this movie, you see that he was trying to give the brothers a chance. Yeah, he did believe in them. He did believe in their product, but they didn't give him. They did not have much imagination, and they pretty much tied his hands. So you can't build anything on behalf of somebody when they're the ones tying your hands and putting the restrictions or guidelines on how you should help them. If you're asking for somebody's help, you're not in the position to make rules. That's my firm belief. But I would say, of a rating, I'd say all the performances was great. And Michael Keaton was great, John Carroll Lynch was great, Nick Offerman was great, even though I normally don't like Nick Offerman in anything he's in. I would say for this movie he was great. Laura Dern was great as the first wife. It's pretty upsetting of how she gets treated, but she was great in her role. Patrick Wilson, it was great in his role. Well, then when there's a time Patrick Wilson isn't great. Linda Cardellini was great. Okay, yeah, she's great, especially for all you freaks and geek fans out there. The performance was great, the writing was great, the direction was great, the film cinematography was great. But that said, I would give The Founder 4 out of 4 stars, and it's a classic. And that's my review. I don't know how. I know this coming weekend there's going to be Resident Evil. I know there's Resident Evil, but right now I'll admit to you that I'm more interested in Gold with Matthew McConaughey. And The Founder, hey, this movie was supposed to be out in August. It's out now. I just had to see it, and I wish it had come in August so I could have seen Michael Keaton being a great Ray Kroc, then spend my money on that, then spend my money on Jared Leto being a lousy Joker. So that's my review, and you have a good one.